Welcome back to Farm Base with Make. Now, in today's video, there is something I want to talk about that is somehow common among some farmers, especially some of those farmers that believe that, okay, poultry feed cost is quite expensive. How can you pay such amount of money on feed? Will you still be able to make profit out of it? That's why I'm making this video today. What's it all about? Now there is this claim that, okay, if you want to cut down on your feed so you need to feed some other kind of feed stuff like you can feed leftover food in the house, some feed waste and all of that. Would that really give you the weight you are looking for within the shortest time? That is why, because I've actually been giving this a thought. Feeding cassava peel and all of that, will it really give you that massive weight we are looking at? Because like me, that who loves to dispose his birds by that day 35, that is, I don't like exceeding that day 35, because the more they stay after that day 35, the more feed they will consume. That is gradually eating into my profit. So I don't like to exceed that day 35. Max is day 37 that I will get to and then dispose everything. That is where the profit is maximum. That is where you have the maximum profit. So if you are heading towards that week 6, week 7, my dear, you are gradually eating into your profit. So feeding this leftover feed and all of that, will they really give you the weight you are looking for? Remember, based on our past record and the record I know we are going to get from this batch that you are seeing right now, most of these birds are going to be 3 kg, 2.9, 2.8, 2.7 kilogram of body weight. So will you get that feeding leftover food, maybe kitchen waste and all of that, cassava peel, which is carbohydrate, high in fiber and all of that? Will you get that weight within that shortest time? Because each time I think of poultry farming, being it layers or broilers, I always like to think of it as a business, not just as a farm or as a farmer. You don't have to know anything about the business aspect of what you are doing. I don't like thinking of it that way. Now, thinking of it as a business, if I'm able to raise my best till that day 35 using high quality feed that guarantees me that maximum weight of 3 kg, 2.8, 2.9, because once the buyer, when they come to your farm, they look at your birds, oh, they are clean, they feel the weight, oh man, these birds are good, they are of weight. So they don't argue in terms of price much. But if, for instance, you want to feed kitchen waste, you want to feed cassava peel and all of the leftover feed and all of that, you want to feed them, your birds will still attain that weight, but not within the shortest time. You need to note that. For instance, the weight you are supposed to get by that day 35, that 2.83 kg, you might be struggling to get 3 kg by, what is 8 weeks? No? But maybe close to like 12 weeks. That's when you should be aiming at 3 kg. Now this reminds me, while we're growing up, you see, okay, my mom will get some Brooder broilers then. She may not even buy feed for them, then just keep them leftover feed, be feeding them. When will those birds come off weight? Around that count, 5 months, 6 months, that's when they will like, okay, they are big sort of. Now they don't buy feed, they just feed free range them. Let them fend for themselves. Let them get food for themselves and all of that. At times we give them kitchen waste and all of that. It takes time for them to attain that weight. But being a businessman, a poultry who is also a businessman, you shouldn't go that route. Okay, I want to try and economize feed, because it's what you give these broilers that they eventually give you. Because it's garbage in, garbage out. Have that at the back of your mind. Now, there is also this saying that says, okay, you use money to buy money. That is 100% true when it comes to broiler production. You need to go with quality feed them well, so that weight you get it within the shortest time. Then the earlier you get that weight, the better for you, because the more they exceed that the 35, the more feed they consume, the lesser of that feed they consume to wait for you. So I am of the opinion that if you really want to raise broilers for business, even for personal consumption, you shouldn't go for that feeding kitchen waste, feeding leftover food and all of that. They will actually give you the weight, but not within the shortest time. But remember, Won't it be better if I feed my birds the 35, I have my 3 kg? If I have to consume them, I slaughter them and leave them in the freezer. So that's a better option for me. But waiting for them to, I don't want to spend because as at the time of recording this video, a bag of broiler feed is being sold for 20 something thousand naira. Now I was discussing with a friend. Okay, he said, okay, this poultry farming is good, but what's the cost of a bag of feed as at today? I told him, well, nothing to hide. What the amount we spend on a bag of feed as at that time we're talking was about 24,000. He said, what? You mean you could spend such amount on a bag of feed, and this your best? They are going to consume about over how many bags of feed? Man, that's too expensive. That's because he doesn't know some secret behind this broiler farming. He doesn't know, because it's actually when you spend, you will get your money back. It's sure. Especially if you raise your best well, you will definitely get your money back, then make some level of profit. That you need to understand. But that profit, if you are aiming to do it as a business, you want to make your profit within the shortest time, do not go with feeding kitchen waste, missing maybe some corn shaft and all of that, because this professional feed we are talking about, the company, they've already done their research, carry out some tests and all of that on the feed, look at the performance and all of that before placing that feed in the market, that they are sure, okay, this feed will deliver quality. Now you going to mix that feed maybe with some other low quality feed and all of that, you are actually reducing the efficiency of that feed, how well that feed is to deliver what it promises within the shortest time. You are reducing it. So don't do that. But as a business, I always say, okay, sit down, calculate what the amount it will take you to raise a certain number of birds till like that day 35, week 6, week 7, depending on how long you want to raise it to. Sit down, calculate it, because I have such video in my channel, like about 2 or 3 of them. You can check them out on how to estimate your how to determine your cost of production, knowing the exact quantity of feed to feed, how to raise your grow your broiler fast, knowing the quantity of feed to feed. Now with that, you know, okay, this is the amount of feed I'm to use to raise 100 birds till 6 weeks. This is the amount of feed I'm to use to raise 200 birds to 6 weeks. Then you budget. So at the end, you will definitely get your money out. Do not plan, okay, but when I get to 3 weeks, or when after 2 weeks, I'm going to be feeding kitchen waste. I'm going to mix my my stuff with corn bran. I'm going to mix my feed with rice bran in order to cut down on feed cost. Don't do that. Just if for instance what you have can raise 100 birds for you, go with 100 birds. Within that 35 days, you make your profit out of it, especially if you've done your marketing before going into this broiler production. That is what I want to tell you. So banking on, okay, because the price of feed is too high, I want to be raising my birds using kitchen leftover and all of that, I don't think you are thinking in the business sense, in the business angle of this broiler production. Because if you are actually here to make a profit, in which case that is actually the primary aim of raising birds, you should go for professional feed that will deliver quality, that will deliver what you want to you within the shortest time. I can assure you that. Don't go for poor quality feed. Now, among this brand of feed that you use to raise broilers, there are some that I don't normally recommend to raise for raising broilers. So if you go with those ones like those mash and some low quality feed, you will not get what you want within the shortest time. Now you will not stock your birds using those feed. Now I thought this man said you can achieve 3 kg, 2.8 kg within 35 days. Why am I not getting this? Just follow all we've been doing in this channel. You will get what you want within that shortest time of 35 days, because that's what we do. Now if you watch almost all my video disposing my birds, it's been like day 35. It wasn't just that like this day 35. Initially I was planning to dispose my birds by week 8. That's ignorance, because it was really eating it home the money I had then, that okay, it must be 8 weeks before disposing your birds. Who told you that? If I can raise my birds within 35 days, I get my 3 kg. Why am I still waiting to hit more weight before disposing them? No. So by that day 35, I dispose my birds, clean up my pen, and then restock. That way I'll be able to do like over how many batch of birds in a year, rather than waiting for 6-7 weeks before disposing my birds. No. This is how I raise my birds. Now, this is the notion I want to correct. If you want to go into poultry farming, especially broiler, for as a business, being it layers or broilers, don't go with poor quality feed. Don't bank on kitchen leftover or leftover feed from the farm and all of that to feed your birds. No, if you do that, you are not going to attain that massive weight within the shortest time. Don't do that. So, but if you are aiming at, okay, these birds, I want to slaughter them in about 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, well, you can start them off with super starter feed. Then after like that week 3 or so, then you leave them on kitchen leftover and all of that. So hopefully by that day, by that 6 months, 5 months, you should be able to hit some level of weight. But I don't advise that. Raise your birds with professional feed. At the end, you'll be so happy you did. Now, this is just all I want to talk about today. Thank you so very much. If you find this video helpful, in a way to say thank you, kindly do where to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification icon, like, comment and share, as this will help us to grow our channel and reach a larger audience. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.